Hey Helldivers, we're kicking off this video by diving into a recent comment from Mr. Pilestedt. A fellow Helldiver posted a suggestion under the CCO's post asking for a way to use a secondary weapon as a primary one, allowing them to deal damage while also healing teammates. The CCO's response was exciting, and you can see it right here. A perk that lets people use a sidearm as a primary and wield them akimbo. Unfortunately, it's a bit too much work to make the animations, but maybe sometime in the future. Wow, he's not saying it's impossible, he's practically saying that akimbo weapons and a perk or maybe a booster for dual wielding could eventually make it into Helldivers 2 at some point. I'm loving this, and it's awesome to know it's a feature they can implement even if it's not practical right now. They'd need to create new animations, bug test everything to ensure it works smoothly, and so on. But still, I want this, and I bet you Helldivers out there feel the same. I've even seen comments on my channel from tons of you asking for a feature like this. So who knows, maybe down the line we'll see it happen. What do you think? Is dual wielding something you'd love to see? Or would you rather the devs focus on something else like progression, new biomes, or something else? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know. Next up, I want to talk about another conversation from the Chief Creative Officer that grabbed my attention and plenty of other Helldivers too. This one's a bit odd, to be honest. It's about how Helldivers 2 was designed to control players' minds. The discussion kicked off when an article surfaced on X about the CCO, Mr. Pilestedt, speaking at a game developer conference. In the article, Pilestedt said, "What is Helldivers 2 fundamentally? It would probably be fun to play a co-op action shooter where you're put in the shoes of the evil side grunts from pop culture. How many seconds would you be able to survive?" So the article went on, quoting Pilestedt from the gaming conference, where he said, "We asked ourselves, could we brainwash an entire community to fight for a fascist state? Would they? Would they be okay with that?" And it turns out, yeah, actually. Then at some point during the conversation, Pilestedt mentioned that the UN asked if they could talk in some form about psychological defense against manipulation. Okay, I'll say it right now, I thought that was the whole point of the game. Isn't that why we're playing? And is anyone concerned that Pilestedt might have been in contact with an Illuminate? He's talking about mind control, and Helldivers are included in that. I think someone should report him to their nearest democracy officer. Jokes aside, I don't see an issue with what he said. I thought that the whole point of Helldivers 2 is that it's based off of fascism. I saw that right away when I started reading the major orders. Anyways, it caught the attention of a lot of people, and there were questions surrounding it. One person created a post saying that the CCO is trying to go out of his way to manipulate players into being fascists. So again, I didn't take his response as in him trying to control us all into thinking a certain way. We're all role-playing essentially, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is until you start behaving like one legitimately in real life and it no longer becomes role-playing, right? On that note, Pilestedt commented on that post to say, "The other way around, role-playing something gives you the tools to be cautious of it in the real world. Not tricking anyone, just fun to play the part of the baddies." Yep, I don't see a problem with it. I'm playing this game because I enjoy it, and I love the whole idea of us calling each other divers or Helldivers. So what are your thoughts on this situation, fellow Helldivers? Oh, and don't forget to report Pilestedt to your nearest democracy officer for that mind control talk. Moving on, the Chief Creative Officer discussed how developers in general are limiting themselves by focusing on battle royale games and not taking risk. This came up during the game developer conference as well. Here's what he had to say. "We will always go through that cycle of death and rebirth, but now that cycle is unnecessarily brutal because we don't diversify enough. We need to make more types of games because people are playing more than ever, and still, we are unable to sustain our business. It's ridiculous. If everybody stopped making battle royales and made different kinds of games, we wouldn't be in this position." Then he made a comment right here about how taking risk is essential for gaming studios and developers to succeed. You know, I don't think he's wrong. I'm no developer, of course, but as a gamer, I've noticed an overload of extraction shooters and battle royales. It's honestly a bit exhausting and overwhelming to see how many of those keep popping up. I definitely feel like there aren't enough creative juices flowing, and we're seeing truly less creative games being made. Helldivers, though, is absolutely a unique game. It took Arrowhead Game Studios something like 8 years to develop. Compare that to most games, which are churned out in 2 years and released with bugs, poor performance, and all sorts of issues. Lastly, Pilestedt addressed a question about why cowboy hats weren't included in the latest Warbond Justice. It started when a Helldiver responded to Pilestedt's post asking how we all felt about the newest Warbond. This player asked, "Where's the cowboy hat?" In response, Pilestedt wrote, "I don't know, haven't heard the design convo, but I think it crossed the line off of what the Helldivers are, which I agree with. I will ask the team next time I pop by the office." So that's his reasoning, or at least what he's suggesting. I'm a fan of creative armors, and I think skipping the cowboy hat was a bit of a miss. Not a huge deal, just a small one. Like I said, I enjoy creative armor designs, and I'd love to see more armors down the line with unique elements added to them. I totally understand why they follow certain guidelines when designing armors, like ensuring that it fits what Helldivers are, but at the same time, I feel those rules might impose some limitations. It could be holding them back from creating some really standout armor designs. So the orbital gas strike, sterilizer, and even the dog breath now affect the direction you walk. Let me show you what I mean so you can try it out for yourselves in game, then come back to this video and let me know how it went in the comments below. Alright, here's what you're going to do. Spawn a sterilizer, some sort of gas type stratagem, or use gas grenades. You'll then inflict gas damage on yourself, and when you try to move, it'll push you in another direction. The controls will feel inverted, and it'll be tough to move around at first. It's a change I didn't notice until recently. If you weren't aware of it either, then give it a try and let me know how it goes. Alright, next up is an update on the Helldivers board game. I mentioned this a couple of days ago, and now we've got some fresh details. We still don't have a price for how much it'll cost, but we do have more images showing what it might look like. Steamforged Games shared an explanation of how it'll work, writing, "First, decide whether you're training alone or with friends. This simulation supports up to 4 aspiring Helldivers for maximum efficiency. Then choose a pre-built Helldiver or custom build your own. More on this below. Next, decide which enemy faction, difficulty level, and mission type you'll be testing your skills against." Now you'll see some images right here, and so far it looks stellar. It features enemies like Hive Guards, Shriekers, and Chargers, along with some others on the right side. There's also what appears to be an extraction booster, or at least it looks like it could be, plus a difficulty selection. For example, one card shows a mission with 10 rounds and a goal to purge 5 hatcheries. The image also includes a pre-built Helldiver card that comes equipped with a breaker, senator, recoilless rifle, grenades, and some stratagems you can use. They also mention other builds like sniper, pyro, heavy, and even a captain build. You've got the choice between picking a pre-built character or creating your own. For instance, you can mix and match your build using these cards, selecting a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, a support weapon, and even grenades. So far, I haven't spotted any booster options. They did mention though that there are guard dogs, Gatling sentries, eagle airstrikes, and orbital strikes in the game. While playing, you can locate points of interest that lets you swap your primary weapon for a different one. You'll also earn medals by completing objectives, which are used to track your score on a mission. If you collect enough medals, at least 6, you can unlock new abilities like additional stratagems. Medals also let you upgrade your action cards, enhancing your battlefield skills or unlocking a second stratagem. There are some cool designs too, like the Helldiver I showed a few seconds ago, and even an exosuit. So if you're interested in picking it up once it's available for purchase, I'll leave a link below so you can check out all the details. For the final topic of today's video, we've got a dispatch message from High Command, or rather the developers, steering us in the right direction, and I'm shocked because it's working. In the latest dispatch, High Command suggested we head to Beckvim and liberate the planet to halt 2 defenses at once, essentially a gambit, right? If you check out Beckvim, we've got 30,000 players, while the other planet has something like 20,000. I think it's awesome to see that kind of coordination, and we might just wrap it up soon. We could finish even faster if the players from the other planet jumped over to Beck them. Next up, I was informed about an exploit within Helldivers 2, and it's with the newest emote. First off, I want to give credit to Beasting PS3 that talked about it right here in this comment. So if you head over to the Superstore and then purchase Draw, you can actually shoot 2 weapons at the same time. Also, before you dive onto a planet, make sure you head over to the terminal here, select the emote option, and select Draw, just like I mentioned. Not only that, you'll want to choose a weapon and a secondary that you'd like to combine together. This could be anything. You could do a crossbow and a grenade launcher if you want, or maybe a shotgun and something else. It's all up to you on what you want to do. Now, in order to perform this exploit, it's quite easy. All you have to do is aim, then emote, and it'll shoot your primary and your secondary. You can do this as many times as you like, and yeah, it's definitely an interesting glitch, exploit, bug, whatever you want to call it. I thought it was cool, so I thought I'd share it with you all. If you have noticed this already, then feel free to comment down below and let me know what you think about it. And with that all being said, we have the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you'd like to be featured on the channel, all you must do is comment under this video, and I might select you to be on the channel. The first top comment comes from Capona. Does anyone else see floating torsos with missing heads, legs, and arms when spectating another player? No, I haven't personally, but I did like your comment because I wanted to know more about it, but apparently it's an issue for a lot of players out there. Again, I haven't seen it, so if anyone else has, let me know in the comments. The second comment comes from DarkKill1942 One Real. My CPU temp is getting higher each update, slowly becoming the double-edged sickle. That is funny. And yeah, it sort of is, right, for certain players. My CPU temp, at least from what I know, it's fine. I haven't checked it yet, but now I'm going to. Last but not least, we have Winter Duchy. There's a new bug. It can happen on players surviving lethal damage, which causes all limbs to be removed except the torso. And yeah, we've talked about that. I haven't seen it. I guess it's a new bug. You guys let me know about all of this. Again, I haven't seen it, so that's crazy. Those are the top comments. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you can, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon below. I really appreciate all the support from everyone who subscribed, left comments, and especially from all the members out there. See you all in the next video.